Good morning, everybody. This is BDF44. Just like to say hello, first of all, to all of y'all everywhere, no matter where you are, where you're from. I wish you a great day, afternoon, or evening whenever you're watching this. That's the first thing I want to say. Okay, let me jump right into some more Lakers stuff. So, we're still awaiting Kawhi Leonard's decision. Excuse me. And I think it's worth asking the question. I'm sure other people are asking the same question. Are we potentially looking at a red flag? I would be lying if I said I'm surprised at what is going down here, because this is something that the NBA has provided us with every summer for the past several years, which is anticipation, wait times, I should say, just moments in between when the big situation occurs, a drama, etc. I'll never forget, there was this one trade deadline where nothing happened, and they had built it up so much, and then it was like literally maybe a couple of trades between the Magics and the Hawks or something stupid like that, and how let down we all felt, and how bad the media just basically talked about how uninspiring that trade deadline was. And it seems to me that ever since then, they have found a way to intrigue the fans with these type of days, whether it be free agency, trade deadline, draft time, whatever. It's always something extremely intriguing for us to grab a hold of. So if I'm to just assume that's the case, then ignore everything I'm about to say next, because I do believe that that is possible. But I'm going to assume things are as they seem. I'm going to assume that this is a free agency situation, that Kawhi Leonard's trying to make a decision right now, and he's trying to figure out where he's going and all that, and he's taking his time to do so. Just assuming it is as it seems. Are we looking at a red flag here? Is this a situation where we're potentially walking into a situation where this guy, if things don't go a certain way, is going to blow the whole thing up for us? I mean, yeah, everybody's used to LeBron James kind of having moments where he inspires his teammates by kind of being passive aggressive and all that. It's well documented how he communicates his feelings when he's not happy. So you can expect some type of friction just about every season, no matter what. That's just what LeBron brings to the table. But Kawhi Leonard is different. Kawhi Leonard, I don't think is one that looks for that attention or that type of energy. I think he's somebody who wants to stay far away from it. I think he's proven that to all of us. And he is leaving a situation, if he does choose the Lakers or the Clippers, where he was happy. Now, he may not have been as happy as he believes he's going to be with the Lakers or in Los Angeles with his family, but let's face it, there's not a whole lot to be frowning about as it pertains to the Toronto Raptors, whether I like it or not as a Laker fan. There ain't a whole lot to be frowning about. They won a championship. If they bring him back, they're still in contention in the Eastern Conference. The East has gotten better, but not crazy better to where they just cannot win out there. There's a lot of things that could keep him from wanting to make this decision, but most importantly, it's a lot of things for him to regret if he does come to the Lakers and it doesn't work out. Now, as far as the numbers, the money is concerned, I don't see any scenario where he can't make more money in Los Angeles, even though he has such a phenomenally great fan base in Canada. I still think that with the Laker fan base coupled with what we have here locally, you got to understand, Lakers are international. We have international fan bases all over the world. I've been told that the Philippines is basically a Laker country, from what I've been told. Like, they follow their basketball really closely, and they love their team. And they love the teams that they follow, and the Lakers are one of the ones that they follow a great deal. We know that Kobe Bryant and some of the other Laker players, including LeBron James, have had a strong presence in China over the past decade or two. So there's a lot of Laker fans everywhere. More so than any other team in the NBA. Probably by far. So we understand what it means to be a Laker. You're not just coming here for the sunshine. Toronto can provide Canada, and that's a great deal of money too. So either way, it's a lot to enjoy about both situations, but it's a lot to regret if they both don't go right. If he stays in Toronto, he'll always wonder if he could have came home and won a championship with LeBron and AD. If he goes to the Clippers and it doesn't work out, he'll always wonder about both those situations. So he's always going to have something to regret, and I think that's what he's mulling over. I believe that that's the only thing to mull over at this point, after all the meetings have been alleged to have taken place. I do think that Toronto is having a in-person meeting today. He might be flying back to Toronto. He might be in Los Angeles. But I've been told he met with all three teams already. I believe Toronto's getting another meeting. So I don't really know what the facts are. I don't think anyone does. And he's obviously keeping it very quiet. Historically quiet. I don't think anybody's been this quiet about what they're doing while taking while taking up so much time in doing it. But as a Laker fan, I can't wait for this decision to be over. This is a horrible feeling. We've been told a lot of stuff, and if we've chosen to believe that stuff, then we've already had our hearts broken, and we don't even know what he's doing. I've seen people on my news feed lashing out at the man. I've seen people cussing him out. I've seen people, already saying that they're moving on. People saying that we need to go ahead and sign people. I would never do that. I don't think anybody in the Laker front office is considering doing that. The reality is Kawhi Leonard is trying to figure out what he wants to do with the next 4 years of his life. And as I just said, he has a lot to consider and a lot to regret if the situation he chooses does not work out. But it just makes me wonder if we're looking at a situation where maybe he'll be a problem for us later on if things don't work out. We're signing players. I don't think we're supposed to be excited about the players that we're signing. I don't believe they'll have big roles on the team, even though I know we're going to have a shallow squad. But Chris Dudley, I like him. I like him as a personality. I think he's going to be a fun locker room guy. I think he's going to be somebody that's going to play a lot of defense and somebody you can trust. He's going to hit a shot. He may even surprise us and hit a big shot for us at some point. I can see him being that kind of guy. He's done it before, and he's done it several times. So if you got to have a back of the bench guy, somebody that would be considered somebody that's not going to be a difference maker in any way, you can do a lot worse than Jared Dudley. We got Troy Daniels. Troy Daniels in that same role. He's a specialist, a shooter. So I don't know that he can do other things. I just don't know. I'm ignorant when it pertains to Troy Daniels. So I will learn as I go forward. But we're not expecting him to take on a huge role, I don't imagine. I'm hearing Iguodala is pretty much committed if he can get bought out. I'm hearing Quinn Cook's name come up. Danny Green, who I'm hopeful that we can somehow convince to take small money. I think the Marcus Morris and Markieff Morris are in the mix, in my opinion. Even though I haven't heard their names mentioned with us, they are still out there, and I'd have to imagine the money that they could get. They've had to have turned down already, waiting for this decision to take place. I think they want to play together, and I think that would be a great thing if they came to the Lakers or to the Clippers, wherever Kawhi goes. I think that would be a great decision for them. What I do think is because the players that I just mentioned are not expected to take big roles or are long in the tooth or, not very strong, basketball players just in general in terms of like being super talented or whatever game changes, there's going to be an opportunity, or not opportunity, but there's going to be circumstances that aren't going to be so great next year when we do load management games, if anybody goes down with an injury. Even though we'll have such a phenomenally top-heavy, talented super team, the rest of our squad is going to be relied upon to really put in some good minutes and win games at times, or help a superstar win games by not giving up big leads when he sits down or when they sit down. And that's going to be the story. How well Frank Vogel and company can rotate the minutes while still keeping cohesion between the three players. And then how they can make it so that those three players can often take time off together and still being competitive in basketball games, so that we don't slip down the standings into some circumstances that we don't want to find ourselves in. Because I can tell you right now, there are some very talented teams in the Western Conference, and even though we are, phenomenally more gifted if we sign Kawhi Leonard, it still stands to reason that you're going to have situations where mismatches are going to take place. If Kawhi's out, we're going to be relying upon somebody who's not very talented to guard somebody who's extremely talented. And I just don't see opportunities for that to be very successful. We're going to need those three guys to be relatively healthy all year long. So, is that going to be a situation where guys start getting antsy? Will Kawhi be happy in that situation? I think that's what worries me. Yeah, he'll be under contract. But will he be disruptive in terms, not necessarily personality-wise, that's absolutely not who he is, but in terms of like, look, I'm not happy here, get me out of here. Like, this ain't it, move me like San Antonio did. Like, I can see a unfortunate scenario where that would be something that he may want to do. And if this doesn't work out, if things go a certain way, if LeBron doesn't take the back seat like he said he would, and it doesn't lead to victories. If guys are winning, I can guarantee you all three of them are going to be super happy. But let's say AD goes down or something like that, then it's going to be on the Kawhi and LeBron to carry most of the lifting, and ultimately Kawhi has to defend everybody. And that's just a lot for a guy who's already talking about load management. And I think that's what the holdup is. If I'm being completely honest with myself and I'm just trying to assess what his circumstances are from my standpoint, if I have the biggest reservation of all, it's just that. That team is shallow, man. I love our squad, but who is spelling these guys? Who's going to give them the breaks that they need to in order to not have to rush back in the game with cold legs and expect it to be red hot to get us back in games after we've blown leads? That's going to be the issue. And it really doesn't matter the combination of players that we get at this point because they're all making minimal money. And unless we can get some guys to take massive pay cuts, we're going to have some untalented guys on the floor. So, and when I say untalented, I mean in comparison to what we're going up against. Of course, they'll all beat me and a couple guys at the Y and even destroy some D-League teams depending on who we have. But that's not what you need in the league, obviously. So I just want to make that very clear. And as a fan of the Lakers, I'm super excited, obviously, about the circumstances we're in. I would love to be here. And somebody else that I spoke to very recently put it in perspective for me. He was like, dude, you rooted for Andrew Goudlock. You've rooted for Troy Murphy. You've sat through Chris Mim. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I've been watching the Lakers since Sean Rooks, rest in peace, was running around. Since Jerome Kersey, rest in peace, was running around. Like Anthony Peeler, Sadale Threet. I've sat through so many different eras, watched so many players come in and out of these lineups, and never swayed. So for what we're going through right now is for real Laker fans, for those of us who really, really, really follow this stuff, this ain't that bad. It may suck, but look at it this way. We already have two of the best players in the world. And the last time we were able to say that, we were champions. The last several times we were able to say that, we were champions. So that's if Kawhi doesn't show up and we're stuck with nothing this year. Now, if Kawhi doesn't decide to come to the Lakers, I do not think we'll win the championship this year. In fact, I'll be happy if we get out of the second round. Because with a shallow team and Anthony Davis, who's had issues, LeBron James coming off a serious injury, that's what I meant by issues, injuries. I just feel like you're going to need more talent. Now, if we could have, known what Kwahi was doing by, free agency, we certainly could have, gotten a team that I thought could compete. But right now, as it's currently constructed, we're going to have to do a lot of work to make our team good enough to win a championship if Kawhi Leonard doesn't come. So, that withstanding, I think the Lakers are picking up pieces that will be tradable. And I think if you bring enough tradable pieces, especially at very small salaries, expiring contracts, you'll be able to trade them for something valuable. So I have a feeling the Lakers are going to have a better team once they know who of their young players, whether it be some G League guys, which is likely, or people that they'll pick up just off the street, which I see us doing, who can be a real contributor. And once we know that, then the Jared Dudleys of the world and the Troy Daniels of the world are probably going to be packaged together for a reasonable piece, something that can help us win playoff time. So that's something I'm expecting. The Lakers are going to be active at the trade deadline. I think that's inevitable. And that's how you build this team going forward. If Kawhi Leonard doesn't come, you just try to accumulate as many of those little pieces that you can so you can package them together and turn them into just slightly bigger pieces. And eventually you have something to go along with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. It takes a year or two or maybe even 3, but you can still do this. And you can do it successfully. So anyway, I've gone on longer than I wanted to, but I had a lot to say this morning. I hope Kawhi chooses us, but if he doesn't, we'll just have to wait a year, and that's how I look at it. Anthony Davis is going to be amazing. LeBron James is going to be amazing, but they're going to need help somewhere on this team. And even if Kawhi comes, we're going to need help because as dominant as those three are, you can have a 20-point lead and lose that in this league. And that's exactly what the story will be if our bench can't hold it together. So that's the end of what I have to say. Hopefully Kawhi Leonard it makes the best decision for himself. All right, take care, everybody. BDO.